What movie does everybody else love, but you think sucks? Fight Club. Always hear the memes. The first rule of Fight Club is, I watched literally half the movie and was bored out of my mind and gave up. Really tried. Sorry. I really liked Real Steel. Just checking on the IMDb reviews, it doesn't seem well received. Even if it's a bit of a boxing cliche. I still loved watching it. Good father and son bonding movie. The Joker, I really enjoyed Joaquin Phoenix's performance, but the movie as a whole just didn't connect with me. Maybe I've seen the Joker trope too much at that point, and I'm just jaded from it. Titanic. I don't know if everyone loves it now, but they definitely seemed to when it came out. I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. Pulp Fiction, Fight Club, most Quentin Tarantino movies. I think they are weird and disturbing. Anything by Hallmark. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I hate it so much. Every character's smug face, every stupid decision, all of it. Everything about that movie pisses me off. A Christmas Story. I wish that little bastard's entire tongue had stuck to the pole and ripped off. Any superhero movie. I can stand the Dark Knight trilogy and V for Vendetta, if that is even a superhero movie. But Avengers and most other superhero movies I have watched tends to get stuck somewhere between epic and funny cheesy action in a way that don't work for me. The Notebook. Interstellar. Goodfellas, The Godfather, The Irishman, etc. I've never liked that specific breed of movie. They're always really long too. Home Alone. One of 2 movies I walked out of because it was so fucking stupid. I'm supposed to believe a family is just going to forget one of their kids on an overseas vacation? And then it turned into the Three Stooges. I can watch that at home for free. Avengers Endgame. Wasted my money going to the movies. John Wick. Some people killed his dog and he got revenge. Not that amazing. Every Pixar movie ever besides Cars and like Toy Story. Superhero movies. All of them. All these fucking Marvel/DC superhero movies. Same plot every time. Some downtrodden bullied kid becomes friends with some celestial created being of some kind, only to turn into some kind of hero in the end, in a world of sepia and turquoise tone filtering and CGI effects. And of course, the hero rides off into the sunset. Kind of a trope at this point. And can we quit with the goddamn Star Wars sequels already? The original trilogy rocked, but everything since has just gone downhill in tropes. Thor Ragnarok. I thought the movie was way too lighthearted for the threat that it was presenting. Especially after Loki, where it was revealed that around 9,000 people died from the event. Spider-Man No Way Home. And before you all blast me, hear me out. This whole movie never should have happened. Yeah, I said that. This whole movie should have never happened. Peter had one job and he blew it like it was his last breath of oxygen. All he had to do was just say, I wish for everyone to forget me except for the Avengers, MJ, Happy, Ned and Aunt May. Boom. If you still wanted to make a movie, you could have made a much better movie around the premise that Spider-Man had to prove himself to the town. That would have made for a much better movie than that overrated stuff we got. On top of that, most of the villains aren't even needed. And why the hell did we get Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire back? Like, they are good characters, but it felt like they were brought back to generate more publicity. I know it sounds like I hate this movie with every inch of my soul, but I don't. I just don't understand why it was so hyped. Far From Home was better. Gone with the Wind. American Psycho. The ending made me feel like when I watch an episode of a TV show where in the end it hits you with a, but it was all a dream trope, except it's for a movie I knew nothing about prior, so it wasn't interesting at all cause I wasn't invested into the characters or anything. Honestly just felt like a huge waste of to me a story of a crazy guy's life that didn't really happen even in the already fictional setting it happened in. Star Wars series. I don't want to belittle it or anything like that, but I just don't like it for some reason. I'm a Marvel fan though. Forrest Gump is a big one for me. Toy Story 3. Titanic. Star Wars, don't hate me, but I don't like it. Napoleon Dynamite felt like I was being pranked. Everyone absolutely raved over it, then I saw it and thought it was incredibly pointless and not funny at all. What about Bob? Am I watching a comedy or an awful tragedy? The Big Lebowski. Disjointed, unentertaining mess, albeit well acted and quotable. Then again, with the intended audience, I guess you have to be high to enjoy it. I did not care for Baby Driver. Honestly I barely remember it, and I watched the whole thing start to finish. I just remember not liking it. Any Wes Anderson movie. A lot of people thought Venom, Let There Be Carnage was decent, or at least better than the first one. I think it was very messy, and that the first one was better and more enjoyable, because it felt unintentionally bad. This one tried to replicate that, and just felt like an accident to me. The Eternals. Star Wars, I'm so sorry. Star Wars. I think, the first one. I haven't seen any of the others, and I couldn't finish the first one. It was just bad. I'm sorry. You're gonna hate me for this one, but the Star Wars franchise. Just never got into it, the plots were too convoluted to even be entertaining, and the acting could be awkward at times. The Shape of Water. Monster sex and a poor Cold War story. The Notebook. Some of the worst acting in a supposed blockbuster I've ever seen. Black Panther. It just felt like it exists for political reasons instead of creative reasons. I understand black people want more representation, but there are better stories out there that explores racism. Django Unchained is really good for example. Also, the racism parts were handled subpar. It's not a movie for black people either, only for Afro-Americans really, since the plot was more concerned with liberation from racism by force instead of the starvation of Africa. I believe it was handled poorly because of these reasons. Look at Thor, that's a fun hero and a good enough interpretation of my culture. They could be made something similar with African culture. Or perhaps just a hero that happens to be Afro-American that has gone through racism. Making a movie about racism in the West have African element is weird to me, since the cultures are entirely different at this point. Hereditary. I didn't think it was all that great, or even scary. Most Marvel movies. Wonderful World of Amelie. Lord of the Rings. E.T. I hated it when it came out and still hate it now. The Godfather. Princess Bride. Now, I don't think it sucks, it's just meh. What I think is happening is that most people saw it as a kid and have fond memories of it. I watched it for the first time like 2 years ago when I was about 40 years old. I watched it because everybody was constantly telling how great it was, so my expectations were high. And it was okay. Inception was a good movie, but was it really that good? The Transformers movies. Movies with Harry Potter. Shanghai, pretty lame even for Marvel. Michelle Yeoh is the only redeeming quality of the whole movie. Lion King. Not everyone loves it, but Wolf of Wall Street was so formulaic and boring. The only surprise for me was the plane blowing up. Get Out. I don't understand why this is such a well-regarded movie. Seemed very average to me, and the comic relief friend character was mostly annoying. Children of Men. I saw it in theater and found it really stupid. The basic idea is good, but it's all downhill from there. The surprise death is just there for shock value and the whole stopping the shooting because there is a baby, but resuming immediately, even though the baby is still right there. The whole movie just feels like a 2-hour emotion jerk attempt. Scarface. Uncut gems. Almost all the Jim Carrey movies. I can't stand him. Eternal Sunshine gets a pass because he did a good job and it was an amazing movie. Lord of the Rings. So boring. Joker. Now you see me. The Joker was absolute shit.